Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're mainly the McFarlane DC Multiverse Blue Beetle movie, Carapax. Now, this is a Megafigure. I'm not familiar with Carapax from the comics, but from what I've read and looked at, this guy looks to be a pretty good version that you could substitute as a comic version. Very similar type of suit. He looks like a Gundam. That being said, the Blue Beetle movie is not out yet. Looking forward to it, and at least we have a villain for Blue Beetle to fight. I picked this guy up at Target, so let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Blue Beetle, Carapax. Here he is in the package. Looks like he has 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, a display stand, and a collector's card. One side of the package, Carapax from Blue Beetle. Other side, Carapax. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there's his barcode, in case it helps anybody. On the back side, you can see the figure posed up. Definitely has sort of a Gundam vibe to it. So no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't really come with any traditional accessories. He has a display stand, collector's card, and then 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Carapax, McFarlane's most recent Megafigure. I don't know much about Carapax from the comics, but when I looked him up, his movie look is very similar to his comic look. It said on the back of his card that he's the right-hand man for Victoria Cord, who's running Cord Industries. Sounds like she's going to be the villain of the film, and he's going to be the sort of muscle. He has kind of a Transformers look to him, kind of a Gundam look. It's cool. He's a big figure, kind of robotic. So let's take a look. So, he's got these things sort of sticking out his back there. He's got 2 shoulder pads, and they're articulated. You can totally move them out of the way as needed. His face here, it's got sort of lit up in the middle, red armored suit. We got Blue Beetle in the movie. He kind of has sort of a bug look to him too. Looks like single jointed elbows, big, strong, sort of Transformers type fist, double jointed knees, bulky body. Overall, it's just a pretty cool looking figure. And now, for a closer look at his face and head sculpt. And here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's check out his accessories. Let's start with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. A typical McFarlane stand we've seen a million times before. It's a black circle, very thin, very basic. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Carapax from Blue Beetles. On the back side, there's a description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Now let's check out his hands. He has a total of 4 of them, 2 left hands and 2 right hands. Here he is with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here he is with the second pair of hands. These are some open, relaxed hands. His hands are kind of a pain in the ass to take in and out. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. And this is a Megafigure, so he's going to be on the larger end of things. From bottom to the top of his head, standing at about 8.3 inches tall, which can translate to about 21 centimeters. And to the top of those, hell, I don't even know what those things are on his back, about 9.2 inches tall. And now for his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down about that much. Can tilt his head from side to side. Shoulder pads on a ball joint. They can really move a whole lot. They're not going to get away of his arms. The arms themselves, the shoulders go up less than 90 degrees. It's kind of like a ball joint. Up, down, around. Now they can only seem to go up about that far. Big blocky arms just sort of blocking themselves. His elbow, single jointed, goes in 90 degrees with rotation. His wrist can rotate, and it is going to be hinged as well. His torso, he's got a ball joint. Rotate around, forward and back. Another one in his waist. Rotate around, forward and back. Not a whole lot of either one. Between the two, decent range of motion. Legs, complete as the splits. Not a ball joint. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, it's decent. His legs go forward, about that much. Pretty good amount. Back, not at all. Double jointed knees. And then his ankle, forward and back. Tilt rock. And no real rotation. Here's Jaime walking down the streets. Nothing going on. Until that scarab attaches itself to his back. And then Jaime becomes the Blue Beetle. The suit starts communicating with him. It wants to show him all the different things he can do. He goes all the way up into the sky. Wings out, cannon out, geared up. Here's a look at Blue Beetle and Carapax duking it out on the city streets. And here's a closer look at Carapax. Now let's check him out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Blue Beetle figures. Here's the entire Blue Beetle movie wave. We have the regular Blue Beetle, Carapax, and then Battle Mode Blue Beetle. In addition to the movie Blue Beetle figures, they've also made a couple of comic Blue Beetle figures, but these aren't the same Blue Beetle. These are Ted Kord from the comics. He's the second Blue Beetle. The movie Blue Beetle is Jaime Reyes. He's the third Blue Beetle. Now let's check him out. Next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse Megafigures. Here he is, next to the first group of Megafigures. Darkseid and Steppenwolf from Zack Snyder's Justice League. The second Megafigure they made was a Walmart exclusive gold label King Shark from The Suicide Squad. He was first introduced as Build-A-Figure and then had a Megafigure release with different shorts and a bloody mouth. After King Shark, they released Swamp Thing, and there were 3 different variations. There's actually a 4th variation coming real soon, and that's the glow-in-the-dark Amazon exclusive. At that point, the Megafigures were selling well, really picking up steam, so they increased to 2 figure waves. After that, they released the comic Clayface and the video game Titan Joker. The Titan Joker is the tallest Megafigure in the entire McFarlane DC Multiverse line. Next, they released a comic Man-Bat and video game Killer Croc Megafigures. The next wave had a comic Bane and Necron. Bane is one of the most sought-after Megafigures. I've seen Necron at stores a few times recently, but never Bane. Then they released a Gorilla Grodd Megafigure. This is the only Megafigure they've made in the Page Puncher subline so far. Shortly after, the Black Adam movie dropped. They made both Atom Smasher and Sabak from that film, more Megafigures. And then they released both Frankenstein and Mongol. I thought it was a great wave of character selection. Frankenstein, a totally unexpected character, although when it comes to McFarlane, he loves monster-type figures. And then Mongol, another Superman rogue. We need more of those. And here's Carapax, next to the most recent wave of Megafigures, Carapax and Fulcrum Abominus. And the previous Megafigure to come out, and this one wasn't any traditional wave. He was actually in a 2-pack with a regular figure, and the first that they've done something like that. Here's Carapax, next to Doomsday. Here are all of the McFarlane DC Multiverse Megafigures so far. They look pretty cool all lined up like this. And the next 2 is going to be Batman in the Justice Buster armor and Anti-Monitor. I've already seen pictures and videos of those. They look really cool. And I know there are some Megafigures for the upcoming Aquaman film. Beyond that, really haven't seen anything. Now let's check them out. Next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the Abyss from Batman vs. the Abyss. He's the only figure I have so far from the Collector's Edition wave. That wave consists of Abyss, Superman, and the Alan Scott Green Lantern. And all 3 of those figures are the Platinum Chase out there. If anybody out there happens to get one and they're not interested or willing to part with it, drop me a line in the comments below. I'm sure we can work something out. And here he is, next to the San Diego Comic-Con Dark Knight Trilogy Gold Label wave. We have a Joker as he's seen in Batman's Sonar Eyes, Bane with his coat, and then Joker as a bank robber thug. Then, next to some more San Diego Comic-Con exclusive figures, we have the 85th anniversary Superman, the 30th anniversary Nightfall Batman, the Page Puncher Sketch Mr. Freeze, and the Dark Knight's Metal Alan Scott Red Lantern. And now, with some recent McFarlane Toy Store exclusive gold label figures, we have Superman in his Unchained Armor, the Patina variant, Catman, Dick Grayson Robin, and Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern. And next, with some Target exclusive releases, here's Carapax, next to the Superman vs. Doomsday 2-pack. And here he is, next to some Target exclusive Joker Eyes stuff. Then, with some more Target exclusive figures, we have the Sinestro Corps Batman, Ted Kord Blue Beetle, Flash War Impulse, and Deadman. And now, with the Tart exclusive Flashpoint wave, we have Aquaman, Project Superman, and Flash. Here's Carapax, next to the Injustice 3-pack, Batman, Supergirl, and Dr. Fate. And here he is, next to some recent Walmart exclusive gold label figures, we have the Vampire, Joker, Batman and Superman, then Captain Atom, Beast Boy, and Eradicator. Then, next to the goofy head sculpt, Rebirth Superman vs. Ultraman 2-pack. And now, next to the most recent Batman wave, we have the Nightfall Batman, Batman Reborn, Two-Faces Batman, and Batman Incorporated, Batwing. Here's Carapax, next to the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, black and white accent Superman and Flash. And here he is, next to the 5th wave of Page Punchers. This is a Batman-themed wave, fighting the Frozen. We have Batman, Robin, Batgirl, and Mr. Freeze. There's a Platinum Chase variant of this Batgirl, and I'm on the hunt for her. And finally, next to this recent Build-A-Figure wave, this is the Titans wave, Collect-A-Build Beast Boy. Now let's check him out. Next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale, and this guy is a 7-inch scale figure, but he's considerably larger than 7 inches, as he's a giant, oversized deluxe figure in a robotic suit. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work away smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures. Here's Carapax, next to a wadded-up paper towel. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collective figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, next to some Mayfix figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, Carapax is a pretty cool figure. I have no attachment to the character, no knowledge of the character. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I can't deny this is a pretty sharp looking figure. Sculpt, paint job, excellent. It's kind of got sort of metallic, glossy paint job to it. Sculpt is fantastic, very robotic. His articulation is a little bit limited, but what do you expect from a big, bulky character? Biggest problem is going to be sort of his bicep area and how far up his arms can go. They sort of block themselves. His accessories are non-existent, alternate hands that don't really matter. I find myself using the fisted hands, so I see this guy as sort of a soldier, combat. He's the villain. Looking forward to checking out the movie. He looks pretty cool in the second trailer. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. It's a figure I don't need, but he does look good. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.